Verse 43. And there appeared, as he prayed, there appeared an angel unto him from heaven. To do what? To strengthen him. And being in an agony. See, that strength was not to eat. That strength was to activate. That's why I see when a man of God prays, when they lay hand, when they release blessing, we are supposed to go home and activate. He activated the strength. The strength, he used the strength to pray again. And he said, verse 44, and being in an agony, he prayed more earnestly. He could only do that because more strength had been released. It wasn't even human being that gave him the strength. God had to send an angel to strengthen him because the task that is ahead of him is heavier. Look at what happened to Elijah. The Bible says, and God sent a bird to feed him for 3 days. And look at what the Lord told him. He said, eat, because the journey is far. The bigger the destiny, the bigger the journey, the more strength is required. The more fire is required. The more prayer is required. The more word is required. That's why when I see people, you're telling me you are bored. You are bored. Please, if you ever find yourself in that situation and say you are bored, please pray against it. It's not just laziness, it's a spirit that wants to take off that destiny. To be bored. Someone say, I'm bored. I don't know what to do. Because you see, when you identify destiny, when you know what you have been called to do, honestly, time, this 24 hours, it looks like 3 hours. Yesterday, I sat in front of the computer for almost 6 hours studying. And I look at the time. Oh my God. It's time to get ready again. Have you seen someone preparing for a board exam? They pity themselves. They cannot even sleep. They cannot sleep. They cannot sleep 8 hours. You can never see them sleep comfortable. They have big bed, but they cannot sleep on that bed. Some of them sleep on the couch in the living room. Why? Destiny. Brethren, please identify what God has called you to do and focus on it. Focus on it intentionally. Look at what they told Apostle Paul. They said they put themselves under a curse that they will not eat and they will not drink until they see him die. Brethren, the same thing happened to Elijah. I want us to pray, so I'm not going to go to those scriptures. The same thing, Elijah. Elijah was given information to the king of Israel about the Syrian army. And look at what the angel, the Bible says, and the Syria, he told them, go and spy against him. You know what they did? They sent chariots, they sent hosts of horses. They now sent chariots. Brethren, when you have made up your mind to become a solution in your generation, you're ready for big attack. If you have made up your mind to be a solution in your generation, because, you see, let's quickly look at that verse before we start praying. 2 Kings chapter 6, from verse 9. 2 Kings chapter 6. 2 Kings chapter 6. 2 Kings chapter 6. From verse 9. 2 Kings chapter 6 from verse 9. I read. And the man of God sent unto the king of Israel, saying, beware that thou pass not such a place, for the Syrians are come down. And the king of Israel sent to the place which the man of God told him, and warned him off, and saved himself, not once, not twice. 11. Therefore the heart of the king of Syria was so troubled, for this thing. And he called his servants and said unto them, will you not show me which of us is for the king of Israel? And one of his servants said, none, my lord, O king, but Elisha, the prophet that is in Israel. Then let the king of Israel the words that thou speakest in thy bedchamber. And he said, go and spy where he is, that I may send and fetch him. And it was told him, saying, behold, he is in Dothan. Verse 14. 2 Kings 6, verse 14. Therefore sent he thither horses and chariots, and a great host. Against who? One man. Horses and chariots and a great host. Just one man, like Daniel, one man has become a threat to a whole king, to a whole city. One man. One man. Verse 15. And when the servant of the man of God was risen early, gone forth, behold, an host compassed the city, both of horses and chariots. And his servant said unto him, alas, my master, how shall we do? And he answered, fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them. Brethren, be careful who is very close to you. If your faith, if the person who is very close to you is a doubter, if the person carry fear, if their spirit is not fired up like you, in the day of calamity, the day of trial, the hours of darkness, they can become an instrument of destruction. Imagine, this case is like the case of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. The Bible says, and Daniel made a decision in his heart. How come the children of Israel, they came as slaves? How come Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego did not challenge him and be like, Mr. Man, why can't you make decision for yourself? Let's make decision for ourselves. But because they have the same vision, 3 years eating vegetable. Brethren, be mindful of your circle. Your circle can determine either your acceleration or the going back. Association determine acceleration. Verse 17. And Elijah prayed and said, Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see. And the Lord opened the eyes of the young man. And he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of what? Horses and what? Chariots of what? What was the difference? Fire. Fire. The Syrian army sent an army, hosts, horses, and chariots, but their own carried no fire. So when the enemy wants to attack, God gives the same, but in double. Brethren, I'm going to stop there. Please, I'm